All right, so in the last video, you saw how to decompose numbers when your equations are written in this way from left to right. I want to show you another way you can do it, and this is all just personal preference as to what you prefer to do. But sometimes for me, this way makes just a little more sense. So sometimes we see equations where they're not written left to right, but the numbers are stacked on top of each other. For example, 171 plus 382. Okay, we're going to follow the same procedure as far as decomposing these numbers. We're just going to write it in a different format than drawing all these arrows and these to make your connections, okay? So let's take 171 and let's decompose that. How many hundreds are in 171? There's one, 100. We have 7 tens, that's 70. And we have 1 1. Okay, so this is this number written out when we have decomposed it. Let's do the same thing with 382. 382. It's not hard to figure out if you say the number slowly. 382. And it tells you exactly what you need to write. All right, and we are adding. So I'm going to bring my plus sign over, and then you can draw a line. All right, 1 plus 2 is what? 3. Now we need to add 70 and 80. All right, well, you know what 7 plus 8 is, right? Well, that's 15. Which is actually, got to put our 0 back, is going to be 150. We can't have hundreds over here, though. This is our tens column. Remember? Hundreds, tens, and ones. We can't have 100 sitting over here. So take this 100. Let's cross him out, and let's just move him right over here. Let's put that 100 with the other hundreds. Okay? So now we just are left with 50 here because we put that 100 over there. So now we've got 100 and 100. That's 200. 200 and 300, well, that's 500. Now I can read this number, 553. Well, there's your answer, 553. And that's it. For me, this is a little bit easier to understand than doing it this way, but if this way helps you and makes sense to you, you can roll with that. Let's do one of these with subtracting, just so you can see that you can do it both ways. Let's do 321, and let's subtract 180. Okay? So let's decompose this number. We're just going to do it right next to it on the line. 321. 321. Then we have 180. 180. There are no ones here. Okay? Now, while we are adding these numbers up to get this number, our goal here is to subtract. So when I look at the symbol, I know I need to subtract. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that over. I'm going to make it nice and big to help me remember. I need to be subtracting these numbers. Don't let these plus signs over here confuse you. Okay? That's just where we decompose the number. You still have to subtract them. All right, so let's start with our ones again. 1 minus 0. Well, if we have 1 and we take away nothing, we still have 1. 20 minus 80. Wait, can I do that? Let's take away those zeros, and let's think about it with the 2 and an 8. Could we take 8 away from 2? We couldn't. Okay, so now we got to come over here. We need to borrow. We need to borrow 100. How many tens are in 100? Do you remember? Okay, there are 10 tens and 100. So we're going to take this and we're going to change this to 200 because we're going to put one of those hundreds over here. Okay, but when we bring that 100 over here, we need to change this to 120 because we're bringing it over to put with this 20 because we couldn't take 80 from it. Okay, so could we take 80 from 120? Sure we could. To make it easier, think about this without your zeros. Okay, what is 12 minus 8? We can do the counting on strategy. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 4. Okay, but you had your zeros here, so you got to put your zero back. Okay, so it's really 40. 200 minus 100, well, that's going to be 100. Got to put your number back together again. 141. Well, that's your answer. 141. Okay, so I just wanted you to see that you can decompose your number and write it out this way, breaking your number apart and then matching up your hundreds and your tens and your ones. Or if it's easier for you to understand when it's written out like this, then this is another option for you. You're doing the same thing, you're just writing it out a little differently.